So hello and welcome to another episode of Good Fat Life. And we have lots of really cool things happening here in Good Fat Life today. First off, new issue is now at Barnes & Noble and on the website. And so you can get your own copy, read it at home, or go to the digital version. So that said, my guest, who I'm very excited about today, is Carol Pearson. And she wrote a book called 10 Little Rules for, you've got multiple ones, but the first one was what, for a Blissy life?
A Blissy life, yes.
I love that. So where did that come from, Carol?
That came from 2009. I think any of us of a certain age remember 2009 and the Great Recession.
Yes.
It was tough for everybody. And within the course of about 42 days of 2009, my husband and I of 24 years decided to end our marriage. I became an empty nester. My youngest was heading off to college. My business partners went nuts on each other, basically, and I lost my income stream in the process.
I'm sorry.
My best friend betrayed me in a way that was unbelievable. Gosh. And within those 6 or 8 weeks, I was in an entirely new landscape. I had no idea what my life looked like. I was living on my own for the first time ever at the age of 48. And like my good friend Beverly said, it was like somebody had just shaken my snow globe and slammed it down and said, "There's your life now."
Oh my gosh.
It was intense. It was pretty intense. I forgot to mention, in the process of all this, my soon-to-be ex-husband lost his job in the middle of all that.
Okay. So
I started digging. I started just kind of shoveling through and trying to find a path forward. And out of that came this whole new awareness of, how do I want to live? Not how do I have to live? What rules have I been following? But what rules do I now want to live with?
Okay.
It took me about a year to kind of process all of that. And my good friend Lori, whose house I was renting at the time, said, "I don't get it. You just had the worst year of your life, but you seem incredibly happy." And I said, "Yeah, I figured some things out." And she said, "You got to write a book." So I did. And it turned into 10 Little Rules for a Blissy Life.
Your background or your training had been in writing and communication and marketing. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. My professional name was The Words Girl. That was my website. Okay. And marketing, writing, editing, publishing for a number of clients. I did freelance work for about 25 years.
Okay.
So it seemed a natural add-on, that part of it. And that was also at the time when self-publishing was starting to be a thing. So I just leaped in, figured out how to do it, and got a book printed. And then from there, it's turned into a hybrid publishing company. We now have 7 authors with 3 more coming on board. We have 8 titles with 3 more coming out in the next few months. And we have our own tribe here. It really is.
It is. It's, oh my gosh, it's just, I love hearing stories of people, right? Mm-hmm. Real people who have, because we all have circumstances. Stuff happens.
Yes.
And I was just sharing a circumstance before we started talking, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my gosh, a younger me, a different me, maybe who didn't have some of the tools I have now, would have been devastated or debilitated. Mm-hmm. And now it's kind of like, okay, well, I wonder how we can make this work or what's going to come from this. Because when we find that space, those rules, probably your Blissy rules, I'd love to hear some of them. It changes everything.
It does. And my first rule number 1, is get to source. And whether that means for you meditating or getting your butt on the yoga mat or going for a long walk, for me, weeding the garden was always that place where I could just clear my head and listen to my heart. And we spend so much of our time online and engaged, and we need that time to really just be with ourselves and get to that source. And that might mean prayer for some people. It might mean, again, meditation or journaling. That for me was the key. Once I could step back and just get all this stuff out of my head and then really listen to what my heart was telling me.
makes a difference. I had diagnosis of fibromyalgia in my early 40s, and it was like, oh, you're just going to have to learn to live with the pain, take these pain pills, and this is the life ahead of you. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen. But to your point, I discovered meditation, and it changed everything.
Yes.
I mean, it just changed everything. So that's just such beautiful. And you hear those stories over and over and over. Find that thing that allows you to get quiet.
Yes. And then once you get quiet, you can listen to your heart. And that's rule number 2.
Okay.
Right? You have to listen to what your heart's telling you, not what everybody's telling you should do, or what the advice book says, or so many sources want to tell us how we need to live. And that really is what 10 Little Rules is all about, right? We're not telling you these are your rules now. We're telling you these are the rules I came up with. They work for me. And here's some guided journaling prompts so you can figure out what works for you. So the books are part narrative and part journaling space, which people really seem to enjoy.
We found that too with Good Fat Life. Is there's it's so easy to say, oh, you need to follow the keto diet, or you need to be plant-based, or you need to be, vegetarian or vegan or whatever. But the truth is, you have to figure out what works for you.
Yes.
Because we're all different. And so I love that you're providing the opportunity or some ways for to help people figure out what works for them.
We have one book that came out 2 years ago. Amy Heggie Atwell, who I met when I was living down in North Carolina, had severe food allergies. She didn't know what was going on. She just knew she was very unwell, and she figured it all out. And for her, it's a certain kind of diet. And so she wrote 10 Little Rules for Serving You. It has some of her own recipes. It's a very clean way of eating, but it's really more about figuring out what your body needs, how to get it, how to provide it, how to do it on the fly when we're traveling or out of the house. And she's now a health and nutrition coach, helping other people figure out how to do that also.
Oh, that's amazing. I am really working on eating more protein, and it's been a challenge. And so I have my Fitness Pal and some other things that are to help me and figure it out. And it's a process. I mean, you get to a certain age too, and I think we just have these ways of being that I've found I didn't realize. And it's really a challenge to change. But yet when I make the changes, I feel so much better.
Oh, that's the thing. It's that instant reward, right? Oh, okay. I feel better in the morning. Yeah.
But it's kind of, but those prompts or those tools or those journals or that support with somebody else who has the skill and the expertise that can help us, right? Help us by asking the right question or giving us the space to, learn about more about ourselves.
And it's key, having that space. And we really try to keep that space open. And it reminds me of something, I believe it was Carl Rogers who said, what is most personal is also most universal. So you may be thinking, I'm the only person going through whatever it is, and nobody will understand. And we take the attitude, like, try us, because somebody somewhere has been through similar. It might not be the identical journey. Nobody's journey is the same, but there are tools, like you said in one of your podcasts I just listened to. There are rules you can follow. There are strategies that really do apply to so many issues. I mean, gratitude, my rule number 10, every night give thanks. I do it all during the day, but that's sort of my gratitude journal. It's an evening thing. And when we can make this part of our lives, part of our days, then the stuff that comes, because it will.
Yes, it does,
we,
right?
Just like you said in your podcast, have the tools to handle it.
So I heard something the other day. My husband loves football, and it's not football seasons, right? So we watch documentaries on great coaches and football players. And one of the coaches we just watched said, fatigue creates cowards. And I thought, oh, that's powerful, because it's true. When we're tired, we don't care,
Yes.
right?
I
Or
love
we
that.
don't have that energy to push into that neck, to push ourselves. And so then I was thinking, these tools are the whole point of Good Fat Life, or all the tools I use are to be strong. To be strong and to have energy and to have the wherewithal to show up regardless of the circumstance. And I've even found myself like, something, it's been a busy week and I'll go, oh, I'm tired. And then I go, oh, am I really tired? Or do I just need to go take a walk or get some water or do something different? So it's even that language, because I'm like, I don't want to be fatigued.
Yeah. The language we use in our own lives is so critical. The relationship we have with ourselves is the longest relationship we're ever going to have with anyone.
Right.
And if it's not the best relationship in your life, if you don't treat yourself as good as everyone else in your life, there's going to be a problem.
What I was saying earlier is that idea of we receive to give versus give to receive. Because if we receive to give, it means we're taking really great care of ourselves. The oxygen mask is on, and then we're just full. We're just so full of the ability to give. It overflows, right?
I love that.
When I heard
really
that
do.
too, it was just so. So you have these great tools, 10 little rules for a Blissy life. How cute is this? We will put your contact information and where people can find this book on our show notes.
Wonderful.
And yes, I look forward to many more conversations and learning more about what you're doing and your new authors. And how cool is all of that?
It's been such a gift just to watch it unfold. We're really having a great time with it.
And isn't it magic? And I mean, and full of wonder when you can go from whatever your circumstances are, and from that create something that just makes your heart sing.
It's absolutely been such a gift. So grateful.
Well, that is. Well, on that happy note, I want to say to our viewers, go out and live your great Good Fat Life and check out 10 Little Rules for a Blissy Life. Thank you so much for being here, Carol. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Sherri. It's been lovely.
Okay. Be well.